Here today with my dear friend, Bonnie Bernell. Hi, Bonnie.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here, see you, and talk to you about whatever you'd like.
Well, what I want to talk about is that you've so kindly agreed to be one of our guest artists for December, the perfect time when you are going to introduce us to the whole world of collage and a new collage or very specific collage methodology called Franken paper, which you're going to talk to us about in a little bit. But first of all, Bonnie, can you just give us a little bit of background on you? Um, your both your professional and your artistic background.
Sure. So, from my earliest days, I've just had a passion for art and for psychology and for writing it. And, in the course of my life, I've been so fortunate to get to put the three of those together. And I think about it as the treasures in our life, the treasures that matter. It's the stories, it's what just comes out of our inner wisdom, it's what we get. I mean, just color on paper is pleasure for me. It always makes it a good day if
And
I can
Treasures That Matter is the name of your book, Bonnie.
it
The most
is
recent book.
a recent book. Yeah. It's actually uncovering treasures that matter because it's a process of, just pausing. Most of us aren't still very often, noticing and wondering what really matters to us. And so that just informs or speaks to everything I do with art and psychology and writing. There's sort of my three-legged stool that keeps me going, keeps me steady, as long as I have the chance to do each of those, really every day. And it's a good day, no matter what happens. That process of color or art in some way, writing and psychology, is kind of the base for my well-being.
Wonderful. Bonnie, you and I met through classes that we did together, and I remember your love of making trees and of collaging trees. And I see behind you one of those beautiful collages you did, and it's huge. What is it, 3 by 3 or 4 by 4?
4 by 4.
Four
And
by
they're
four.
hand painted papers, hand cut leaves, and they're, I don't know how many, but I got trigger finger from doing it at the first one. So a lot of them. So I had to make some adjustments. But it was such, when you're coming from inside of you, it's just, we're so fortunate. We get to like express whatever it is that matters to us, what pulls us or what's important to us at that moment. Uh, and that's actually how I got curious about Franken paper, because it's really a very simple process, kind of a collage in itself, where you just put papers together and there's simple versions. People make it from scraps of paper, and that's really how I started. But you can also do it in a more intentional and productive way to get papers that I used to cut the leaves to be in the tree. So it's hard to imagine. I mean, the first big tree I did during the pandemic, and we were home. We were all home. Uh, hours and days. Just the gluing the leaves with medium on the trees took 12 hours.
Wow.
Just after they were all painted, cut, figured out, before that, painting the backgrounds, all of that, but just the gluing took that. So a total labor of
Wonderful.
love.
So I'm going to share right now some slides that we put together. Blurry, but I just got it off the internet. But this is sort of classic Franken paper where somebody stuck together bits of books. Can you describe what they're doing here?
Yeah, I mean, the concept of Franken paper is very simple, but it you have to think about it. It is not just gluing images or like book pages are there, or even things cut out for collage. It's not gluing them onto another piece of paper. It's not like you have a piece of paper and you glue it down however you glue it down. Literally, the idea of Franken paper is you are creating a new piece of paper by, with your images, you're just gluing them at the edges. So you have both sides of the media that you're using. So for that book page there, in the real Franken paper, I don't know if this is glued on or not, I can't quite tell. You would see the front of it, and you would have a small line of glue, and then you'd have another something jutted up against it that's glued, and then you burnish it so it patches. And now you have one image and you have another image, but it's the same paper. You're not putting it on some substrate, some paper, or you can even do it on fabric and collage or what, canvas. That's not what you're doing. You're literally taking scraps or junk or stuff. Now, it's not what I'm going to show you how to do uh, in the class, but classic Franken paper is just junk torn and then glued together, and you have a front and back of the same material. And so that I can't quite tell that. So you see the torn edges there, and if you turned one of those over, then you would be seeing the other side of the
Oh, that's
actual paper
lovely. So it's actually a piece of paper that you can use.
that you're going to create. You're literally creating a new piece of paper.
Now, these are some of yours, Bonnie. So tell me,
Well, that's right. So uh, it's
wow.
so these are, well, you've got the slides. I don't need to show you more. These are still torn paper, but it's thick enough because there are a number of layers that are glued, but just at the edges. They're not, if I didn't like something, I could put another layer. So some of that's uh, tissue paper. On this one, this is old foil. You can get foil from candy wrappers. You can get foil from, I got some of it from printers. They have scrap, printers who print labels or make cards have tons of scrap, which they're usually very happy to get rid of. And it's quite thin, but when you glue it that way and you burnish it, it almost looks like it melts and becomes its
One.
own. And it depends on what kind of glue you get, about how the foil works. You can get foil that works with heat. And so this piece is bigger pieces of foil. And then on top is an embellishment of that. I was trying flowers. I was going to put flowers when I was experimenting with my tree, but I didn't want flowers. They're all leaves. It was about leaves and about what leaves bring to us. And I won't get started on what leaves mean to me, or we'll be here. So again, this is just those pieces of foil that are glued together. Some of them look like they're layered, but they're actually just glued at the edges. And uh, everybody wants to know what kind of glue to use. You can get glue that you can get all kinds of glue. There's actually a very good website called thistothat.com, which is what kind of glue you use when you're trying to put one glue, one piece of whatever to another. But these are Franken paper. Some of it's foil, and then the sort of circles. I wanted the texture because I wanted it to be the ocean. That was what I had in my mind. But with art, doesn't matter often what you have in your mind. I'm a psychologist. We know our minds are only part of what take us to create. So it doesn't actually. It's more. Yeah.
You know,
So
I love this one. This is very large, right? No, is it? Yeah, and
48 inches.
yeah,
48 inches
this
square.
you were working on this when we met, and I remember as it was being. I remember this as you were creating it. It was so intensely beautiful. This is one of your trees. One of them, of course, is sitting behind you. This is another one. How big is this one?
48 inches square.
4 by 4. My gosh, that's a labor of love. And I must say that doing something like this has incredible amount of it's like the mindfulness involved in doing something like this is pretty intense.
When I realized what it meant to me, it was clear why I put so much time in. It's a tree
Beautiful.
about my mother, and is a tree about uh, grace, a person, and the idea of grace, uh, a, an important
No,
part of
I've never seen this one before, and it's absolutely superb. And you're saying that these leaves are actually cut out of Franken paper often, correct?
yes, probably about 75%. Some I had papers that I had painted in other ways, marbled, but they're all handmade papers, hand painted papers. Uh, and, for some, I just ran out of Franken paper, but each of the steps of it, when you get so involved in a project like this, it just has its own life. And
Absolutely.
I probably painted the background of that 10 times too. So, you just,
It's amazing. I'm just moving on to this last one because I think this is and particularly important where you've created a little book
right.
out of paper, out of Franken paper.
It's like magic. And it is the holiday. If you want to send a card, this is the same as a card. You just have a piece of paper, you make some folds. So you fold it in half, and then you fold the the pages in. I mean, you can look up one-page books on the internet, and you know, we both like this one. And then you fold it in half and cut down to the middle. Okay. And then you have voila.
Book that you could send people for the holidays and give them, put little thingies in there, photographs, stick some photographs. You can then go ahead and do more with it. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect palette. If you don't do anything, if I mean, you could put a cover on it, you can wrap a little sari ribbon, you can, put washi tape, you can make a sticker, just get paper and that you like and paint it. Do some gorgeous illustration from your drawing class. A sticker is just a piece of paper with uh, adhesive on it
Yeah,
and close it. And it's so it's a book, so
it's a book
you can
and it's
write on each
beautiful.
page, and
We love it.
I love you, I appreciate you, I'm fortunate to know you. And it's a holiday card. And say you make a Franken paper and you think it's just just right. So copy it and then make something on it that makes it yours. You know, hand do some on each piece, do something. But the base can be one piece of Franken paper that you copy on. You can even copy on rice paper and then make
Oh.
make a book out of rice paper that just is luscious to create.
I want to really thank you for taking the time to walk us through just a little aspect of this. You're going to get a chance to meet Bonnie when we have a little kind of you know, Thanksgiving get together, which I'll be promoting. I'm not sure the time and place because we both have to figure out where we're going to be, but I'll let everybody know. And that's free for you to come and visit and ask your questions, and also learn what materials you're going to need, where to get them, so on and so forth. It's Bonnie, it's not expensive. People can just use regular stuff. It's not some hugely.
This is like the simplest kind of collage you can imagine.
That's
You know,
amazing.
it's 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 really simple. You can take it and it'll be wonderful. It can be simple. You can see I've gotten carried away with it because I do. And So it's from the simple and it'll be fabulous to the more complex and it'll be fabulous. I mean, you of course know I'm a psychologist by day, and anything that just enlivens our lives that are is just the simplest thing of gluing two scraps of paper together and you create something new is just magic for me. And I'm just thrilled to get to, see you, have time with you, and meet the community of people who you bring into your world. It's such a privilege, Carolyn. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, we're gonna love it. I love this whole thing. So this is in December. Is it December 10th? I always forget. You're
December
better.
8th, December 8th.
December 8th. So it's going to be on Sunday, December 8th. It'll be at 10:30 in the morning till 12:30 p.m. Right after lunch. That's Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, obviously that would be a bit later in the day. We put it that time because we felt that the earlier Sunday, people are just still coming back from Thanksgiving. So this gives you a week to kind of draw breath and then we'll come together. It'll be a wonderful Christmas or holiday get together. It'll be a wonderful holiday get together. I can't wait for it. I'm so excited about this, something that I personally want to do. And I always enjoy the work. I mean, I enjoy all our workshops, but some of them I'm going to be with you and I'm going to create something that I can give to my folks and use for memories and so on and so forth. Thank you so very, very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and tell us about what's upcoming. And we will see everybody on December 8th. And if not before, at our little kind of gathering that I'm online gathering that I will be promoting. So thank you so much, Bonnie.
My total pleasure. Thank you. A total fest of creativity.